What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So in today's video, I'm going to be running you through, are you using deloads to be able to keep your gym progress going? So my name is Matt. I've been a bodybuilding coach for the last 6 years. I've been an athlete for the last 5 years. I've been a competitor myself, going from men's physique up into classic physique. I've also had many results across the board the last 6 years, from bodybuilding to also lifestyle, elite transformations as well. So I have a very extensive knowledge of when it comes to training and also nutrition. So let's get into the topic of the video. What is a deload? A deload is simply just to have a reduction or time off from training to allow you to recover from your CNS getting fried, basically. Now this can come in two different forms. You can have days off, or you can have a reduction in volume of your training to basically wash off any fatigue, anything that might be hitting you hard, basically, for a reset before you start pushing up again. How can I tell if I need a deload? There are many signs to look out for what might indicate that you may need a deload. Gym performance has stalled, or you've lost strength. You may see that you're having a decreased muscle pump. Training motivation has dipped off quite massively. Might be experiencing some mood changes, so you might start seeing some fluctuations that you're feeling more lower. Appetite suppression, you've started noticing that it's hard to get those meals in than normal. Sometimes you may get some GI disruptions. You might see that you've got some cramping or some bloating or some changes when you're going to the toilet. Big one that you'll probably notice is sleep disruption. Sleep starts getting a little bit more shitter, like falling asleep at night or not feeling as fresh on wake, and sometimes you might not feel as recovered. Injuries and stiffness. Now this is quite a common one, that you might be starting to get some niggles in the joints, like the elbows or the knees, or you might start noticing that you're getting a little bit more stiffness across the body. And that ties in then to the recovery between your sessions. So you've noticed that it's lasting longer before that next session. So if any of these are indications, it's probably chances are that you do need a deload. Now the purpose of the deload, like we said before, it's not only just to kind of refresh and things like that, but it's also to avoid potential risk of injury. So how do you actually set up a deload? So there's a couple of ways that you could do it, like as I said earlier. Now, first option would be 4 to 7 day span, a reduction in your working sets. Now I tend to just slash them in half. So if you're working, let's say, 4 sets, bring it down to 2. If you're doing 3 sets, bring it down to 2. I would always use the same loads, but I would actually bring in a reps and reserve scheme. Go to around about 3 to 4 reps, so you've got nothing pushing to failure, but you're still using the same loads. However, if you've got joint stress and it's quite high, then I would probably opt in bringing in a higher rep range scheme. So for instance, if you're doing a 5 to 10 rep range as normal, then I would bring a +5 onto each side. So I would make that a 10 to 15 rep range instead, to allow a lower impact weight on the joints, but you're still able to get some movement across and still staying within the 3 to 4 reps and reserve scheme. Now, another option that you could look at as well is actually changing of movement patterns. So for instance, if you're doing a barbell squat, which is very high demanding because it's a compound movement, you may then opt in for a more stable movement like a hack squat, which is going to be less impacting, still working hard, but it's more of a moderate, because therefore there's less movement that's incorporated. And the second option is just take 4 to 7 days off training. So again, it comes down to who you are as a person. Now, if you're someone like me that doesn't like taking a deload and can't be out of their routine, they have to go to the gym, you'd probably go with option 1, which is probably the most, optional, better suited for most people. And it's the same with my clients and the same for myself. It's going to be more effective for me and maybe for you as well, to still keep that routine in, but just at a lower impacting rate, so you can still get that recovery in and allow your CNS to basically recover for the next pushing phase. So why is a deload useful? Now, you've got to be tactical when you put these in place. And if any of those signs are coming in place, you may need to have a look at your training, reduction in training, bring in the RAR scheme, allow a week to recover basically, and then start pushing up again. Now, it's not only just to bring back some life to you, but it is actually to then moving you into that next phase a lot harder and greater. You'll be able to see that by having a deload, all your lifts afterwards should spring up and fly very, very quick. You're able to then see your body progress, your appetite comes back a little bit better. So it's a great time just kind of have a bit of a refresh, reduce any chance of injury or risk, allow the body to recover before you start pushing back in again. So the one way I like to think about this is, imagine like a bow and an arrow. You have to pull back a bow in order for the arrow to fly forward. There's the same sequence with your training. When you get to a certain point and tension is high, you need to pull back to allow it to shoot forwards. So I hope this video helped you guys. If there's anything you'd like to know, drop a comment down below, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.